BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. Welcome if you are new to my channel. I am here today to do a review video of The Other Bennett Sister by Janice Hadlow. And normally this probably isn't the kind of book that I would do a review video on, but since this book was published, which I'm not even sure, I should know. Goodness gracious, I should know at least that. So it looks like it came out in 2020. But since its release, I have just seen so many people speak about this book in really mixed terms. So I've heard good things, and I've had a lot of people who are like, let me know what you think about that when you're done. So I'm hoping if you've read this book, we can have a spoiler-free conversation in the comment section about what you liked or what you didn't like about this book. Because I have to tell you, I had a really, really hard time putting this book down. So, okay, the first thing is, obviously, again, for those of you who are familiar with my channel, I love Pride and Prejudice. I should have grabbed my copy and I didn't. But that was in my very first BookTube video, was my copy of Pride and Prejudice. And man, I wish I had $1 for every time I've shown it on this channel since, but oh well. And I want to read it again now, but I was told like the first half of this book is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, and then the second half follows the life of Mary Bennet. It follows her after the book. And that's actually not true. This book starts before Pride and Prejudice. With when Jane and Elizabeth and Mary were younger, when they played together, and how over time Elizabeth and Jane become so much closer, and Mary sort of left behind, and then as her younger sisters are growing up, like she sees them connect, and so she's kind of this a middle child of a middle-class family, if you will, in Regency England, and she gets it shows her just being more and more isolated, and how her mother treats her and that kind of thing. But the part that is the retelling of Pride and Prejudice is extremely small, and it's not the scenes that we typically see in Pride and Prejudice. So it's what's happening behind the door of what we see in Pride and Prejudice, which I thought was really clever. I'm sorry, I should have taken notes before. I knew I was gonna ramble like this, but so then and it's not even a whole entire retelling of Pride and Prejudice, okay? So it's like a little sliver of Pride and Prejudice, and then it leaps forward 2 years, and we see the situation that Mary Bennet is in, and what is she going to do about it? And what does she learn? And honestly, I have to tell you, like, I think it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant idea to take a really a minor character from a book and let us see her character development in a different way. I will never look at Mary Bennet the same way again. So I need to read Pride and Prejudice before too long. While this book is still fresh in my mind. There were a few times, and I think there was one more, so there's a couple, you can see a couple of pink sticky notes in the book there, where I almost felt like Janice Hadlow thought, like, the characters have read Pride and Prejudice. There's a couple nods to Pride and Prejudice that are just really, I think, too blatant, and I didn't think she needed them at all. I did read somebody on Goodreads talking about like that the book dragged. There were some like slower moments in the book. I don't know that it needed to be this long. It's 463 pages and I think 95 chapters, which is really that's a lot. But nonetheless, I was so desperate to find out what was going to happen. And there was a part of me, because I've heard so many negative hints at this book, that I was waiting for it to turn like some sort of corner and be completely thrown off at the end. Like maybe the ending was going to be a disaster. Obviously, Janice Hadlow is not Jane Austen. She does not write with the sharpness and the wit that Jane Austen does, but she does such a great job of showing us the growth of a character who, in Pride and Prejudice, you feel like there's really not much hope for. That a life of spinsterhood is definitely ahead for her, and just how the people we're around can influence us, how the decisions we make have these sort of longer maybe repercussions at times than we realize. But I think there's just some really, really great storytelling in this book. So again, it's not the kind of book I would normally do a review video of. I realize, it's not Jane Austen July, but I wanted to read this book. This was the first book I bought in 2021. We went to the independent bookstore and I saw this and I instantly snatched it up. And I thought I was going to be able to get to it in Jane Austen July. Don't ask me why exactly. But I didn't, but I still really wanted to read it. And I'm so glad that I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And so again, I'm really curious about those of you who didn't like it, why. And again, if we could keep it spoiler free so that other people who are coming up with future Jane Austen July TBRs or whatnot, can decide whether it's the right book for them. But I think to call this book a Pride and Prejudice retelling is a mistake. It's more Jane Austen pastiche, but I would say really high quality pastiche as well. So it's not, I don't know, like some of the like film adaptations of Jane Austen are just like, oh man, I really enjoyed it though. It's a 4-star read for me. So again, I would love to hear from you guys what you think about The Other Bennet Sister by Janice Hadlow, and I look forward to seeing your comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. BookTube, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.